What is the lesson that we all have taken from this Ifunanya story, Ifunanya's testimony? What is that lesson that every man, every woman have taken from this Ifunanya story that she just ended yesterday? You know, we are grateful to God. Thank God that our father is well, is alive, looks more healthy, more well kept, more clean. His hygiene is top notch. It's like 100 billion%. You could see that the man is in hands of better caregivers. You know, how care we just realized, because I saw one video where somebody was saying that Ifunanya, that it was $1,500 that was being sent home. Come on. That was a big lie. You know, they try to propagate two forms of lies just to discredit Ifunanya's story. The first one was that the woman was collecting huge child support. If actually the woman was collecting huge child support, she was raising 4 children. 4 children in the US. Do you think it's easy to raise 4 kids in the US? Let's assume that she was even putting those children at the time in daycare. That will amount to nothing less than $2,000 per. And they still say $2,000 because if you put your pikin for daycare, one child a month is $1,000. One child a month. You won't put your pikin for at least a decent child care. It's $1,000 a month. By the time you pay $200 and something a week, $230 to $250 a week, calculate it for a month and calculate that for 4 children. Then you will tell me what kind of she was collecting a huge child support. Do you think it's Nigeria, that the Nigerian government do not care about children? That she's collecting child support? Okay, let's even assume that the time she had those children, she was paying $50 per child a week. That's the amount of $200 a week per child. Calculate $200 for those 4 children for a month. That is the amount to about $1,000 a month. So for those of you that came out and were saying that, oh, it was $1,500, that man, for crying out aloud, was a pediatric. He was a doctor. He was a doctor in the USA, New York, and worked for the state of New York. Even that $5,000, where did they pay him? Secondly, what is that lesson? Like I said, to all my brothers and sisters that we all want to relocate back to Africa one day. We all are so eager. We want to relocate back to Nigeria. To all those men that wants to relocate to Nigeria. To those men that will not trust their family, their immediate family, to tell them the secret, or to put everything in the hands, to entrust their will. Make their wives, their children, their next of kin. What have you taken? What lesson have you learned from this Ifunanya testimony? Do you think that those your siblings that you left in Nigeria for 20 years, 30 years, they are still the same siblings you left? Do you think that those are the same people that you left, the same mindset that they have 30 years ago that they still have against you? It's just a question I'm asking you. What did you learn? Because me, I don't learn so much from this Ifunanya's testimony. It is a story that everyone should listen, watch, and take at least one thing away. One thing. What did you learn from being a man, as a man, with your own family, your immediate family? What have you learned from this Ifunanya story? My people, there's so much to take. There's so much to take, lessons to take from this. Number one, when you are making somebody your next of kin, if you decide not to trust your wife, you can trust 2 people and give them equal rights. Equal right. And make sure, even if you don't trust your wife, your child and that person you are entrusting to, if you decide you want to use your family member, use one of your children and that. Why would you even use your family member when you have your children? Why won't you entrust everything to your children and a lawyer? Whereas if you have children that are minors, that are not 18 years yet, that are not adults, and as soon as they are adults, everything should be handed over. The power of attorney, you stipulate everything right there in writing, boldly, should be handed over to your adult children. Why would you want your brother in the USA or your brother in Africa that does not even understand what it takes, your brother in the village, your sister in the village? Why would you entrust your life, everything that you have worked for, to your sister in the village when you have a child, you have a girl child, you have male children, and you are educated? Why would you go and entrust your livelihood to a woman that don't want the best for you? With the way they treated their own niece, with the way they were pouring sand on her. Do you know what that means spiritually? Do you know what that means? Pouring sand of the land on a child of the soil, or son of the soil, or daughter of the soil. First child of that village, of that household. You're pouring sand on her because of your greed, because you want to buy your brother so bad. Do you know another thing that I took from that story? They would have continued to siphon the USA of their pension, of their brother's pension, even when their brother had passed away. Because if they could tell you, the man's daughter, that the man was in Abuja while the man was locked up somewhere upstairs in a dark room, and said the man was not there, of course they would have lied to the family, to the children, that the man was still alive. They will continue to collect that pension. Even the one here in Massachusetts or in New York could forge a document and put the man's signature and notarized it here in the US, which is a big, huge crime. I don't even know why Ifunanya didn't take up that case with that man. I don't know why he did not take up the case with him. That is falsification of records. It's a huge crime here in the US. So you falsified records to collect somebody's pension, and you spent all that money. I hope you have watched the final part of this story, where Ifunanya told us how our uncle opened an account in Massachusetts, and how when she went over there to close that account, what she found was $285. Apparently, they took $25 for maintenance of that account after I collected her father's pension, $5,000 every month from 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2022 till this year, 23, 24, 25, 78. You know, let's calculate the date. Let's even say 17 he went home. Okay, 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 9 years. Calculate 5,000 a month for 9 years. Okay, maybe we dash the 1 year. Let's just remove that 2017. Let's say from 2018 to 2024, 25, 9 years or 8 years, at most 7 years. If we take 25 out of it, these people were building another house, a house that this man worked his hard-earned money. You were using your money to build a house for yourself. Fear God. I still say that people that are not afraid of God, when they fear God, I feel so sorry for them. I feel so sad for them. They don't get the fear of God for mind. You know, and to my Igbo brothers, it's not just Igbo brothers, to Nigerian men, they always think that your wife will buy you, take your property. It is your families that will buy you and take your properties. We have seen that. We have seen so many people crying out now. We have seen people saying that, if there's a girl I saw on TikTok, she said that when her father passed away, her father was even not cold, it was still warm in the mortuary. And those people, the father's brothers came and they were sharing their father's property. They have not even rest their father. Can you imagine? Because their father entrusted his will, his properties, into the hands of his brother. Not his family, not his children, not his male child, not his girl child, not his wife. But he entrusted his properties into the hands of his family. I hope this Ifunanya testimony don't teach us, all of us, a lesson. Because this is so sad. It is sad, and it is how do I say this now? It is also, thank you, Lord, because in the end, you know, she got victory. Her father is well. The family have reconciled. Her mother is taking care of her husband. He's living with his children and his wife. What else could a man ask for in your old age? What else do you want? And now he's receiving his own pension and is happy. That is what he would have done.